Hi, I'm Gary.
And I'm Dina. And we're traveling on
America's Great Loop.
So a lot of people have questioned of how does that work? So the first thing you need to do is to prepare, right? So we need to prepare for what we need to do, what we need to have on the boat. Make sure some fenders are out. You may not know until you actually get to up to the lock of which side that you're going to be on. So some say, just put fenders out all the way around, but usually you have enough time as you're coming in because it's a no wake zone. You have to go slow anyway. So you just wait for your captain to say, oh, we're going to go ahead and go to the starboard, or we're going to go to the port. And as you're going up towards that, you just throw a couple fenders out. Two, make sure that you have your life jacket on. They will yell at you if you don't, so it is a requirement. You need to have everybody that's on board, your captain, you, everybody needs to have their life jacket on. You need to have about 2 ropes. Number 3, make sure that you have your boat pole ready. Sometimes when you got the rope around and you're holding yourself to the wall, your boat is going to kind of go this way or that way, back and forth, teetering on where you're holding that line, because you have so much flow in there as it's filling the turbulence of the water. So sometimes I use the little boat pole to try to keep us one way or the other, so we're not going back and forth so much. Number 4, you need a really good rope that's long enough. There are mooring pins or floating bollards, or sometimes even just vertical cables that you're going to, and the Tim Tom is basically all floating billards or mooring pins that sometimes they are just like cylindricals. Sometimes they have like little pins on the side. Whatever it is, once your captain gets you close enough to that side, you're going to wrap your rope around there, and then you're going to just go around one of your cleats, wrap it, and then hold it. You don't really ever want to just completely secure and tie it off, because if that floating pin sometimes gets stuck, your boat's going to be pulled. So you don't ever want to just completely tie off. You always want to just kind of wrap around and hold it. That way, if it gets stuck or something, you could potentially let that go and be off of that wall quickly in case they have an emergency or problem that the pin was sticking. So number 5, you need a way to contact the lock master who is in charge of the lock and dams, and for where you're going. We use Quimby's, and Quimby's book will kind of tell you exactly what the name of the lock is that's coming up. It tells you how much it's going to raise or lower depending on which way you're going, whether or not they have floating bollards or fixed pins or cables or whatever they have. And they also let you know exactly what VHF channel they use, like if they use 16 or 13 or 16 and 14, whatever they use. So it tells you all that. It also gives you a number that you can call them if they're not responding and you need to contact them. So maybe like a half a mile or so out, you kind of want to get a hold of them. Sometimes we've called the night before if we're like staging and we're really close to the dam, and we know it's going to be like the first thing in the morning. We need to know whether or not they only open at a certain time. Can we request a time? Whatever, if there's multiple loop boats, then sometimes they'll just wait on all the boats that are going to be leaving that day. So they like to kind of know ahead of time so they can say, okay, well, I've got 14 now. You won't be able to make this. I have too many in that lock. You're going to have to wait for this time or whatever it is. So they'll usually will give you a time, and that way you're being respectful to them and they can kind of plan it a little bit better. As we were going down the 10 tom, it was getting kind of late in the fall, and they don't like to open it so much because their levels are already low with the waters and stuff. So they like to have a full group in because they don't want to have to, you know, fill it and everything or lower it every single time a boat comes in. So they'll wait until they got several boats there. So that guy that left at 6 a.m. because he wants to be the first through the lock is probably going to be sitting there waiting in the lock or outside the lock until the rest of the boats catch up. We had that happen quite a few times. You know, we've seen somebody like hurry up and run to the dam, lock and dam, and then we see them an hour later as we're catching up, or vice versa. You know, the sailboat that is really, really super slow and we ended up passing them to the lock, we still have to wait for them because that lockmaster wants every single one of those pins filled. 6, when you get to the lock and it's time for you to start going in, you have to be 5 miles per hour or less. It has to be like basically a no wake. So sometimes it takes a while for each boat to kind of get into that lock and find a place to tie up. Some of the lock masters are just kind of let you go wherever. They might notify you as to, hey, the 3rd pin on the right side is fixed and it's broken, so avoid that one. But it's always you never want to pass somebody in a lock. We've seen that happen, and a lock master got really super angry that this guy just wanted to be the first one out of the chamber, so he changed position and moved in front of another boat. You don't ever want to do that. It's dangerous anyway, locking and doing the locks and stuff. So really proper way would probably be whoever got there first would go up as far as they could on either side, and then you just follow suit as you go back. Sometimes the doors as they open can get very close to that first boat, so sometimes you might even have to untie and back up as that door is opening. And if you're not the person that wants to really do that, then pick that side that maybe you're behind somebody else, or don't pick the very first. I don't think I said this before, but you have to wait for a green light or a signal horn blow to even go into the dam. So once it's open and ready, you wait for to see that light, green light, or them say come on in, or a horn blows. You go into the lock system and then tie off. And once you tie off, you need to go ahead and call them and say, you know, Naughty Soul is secured, so that they know that you're ready. You're not still fumbling to try to get up to the wall. And finally, when you're ready to go and those doors start opening, just because the doors are opening doesn't mean you untie from the side. You have to maintain your vessel against that wall and secured until those doors are completely open, and then they will do another signal to let you know it's okay to let go. So you have to sit there and be patient, even though, you know, lights running out, or you don't have that much time to get to your anchorage or your next whatever. You still have to be patient. You have to prepare for those times. It takes a while for that process. So once those doors are completely open, the signal of the horn blows, then you can unhook from that pin, secure back, and you still can't go because, you know, whoever is in front of you, they have to go in order so that you're not passing people. So whoever's in the front goes, back side. So you kind of go in order out. You exit very slowly and make sure that you're clear of the doors before you pick up any kind of speed, because you want to maintain that kind of no wake zone until you're free of that lock. And then it's always good practice to give your lockmaster another call and just thank them for everything they're doing, and say that you're free of that chamber, so that they know that you have cleared the chamber too. And that's how you lock and dam.
All right, everybody, we're heading down to the abyss. Looks like an 84-foot drop. Starting water level is 96.3 feet. Let's see where we end up. Okay, you're starting to see the water fill valve gates along the walls. They're all down through here on both sides. This behemoth lock, it's the second largest lock on the East Coast, only second in behind Wilson Lock and Dam, which is in Florence, Alabama. Looks like we got a little waterfall action starting to happen, everybody. Admiral Dina's doing a fine job. She's just in the clearing of getting sprayed directly in the face. If you were in a boat that was in that area, guess what? You're going to get a bath. Yeah, it's cleaning off our anchor area, so from the mud and clay from Anchorage. But I'm kind of fearful. I'm going to try to go slow for you. I'm kind of fearing that I'm going to get wet because guess what? I'm in direct fire if one of these gates decides to spring a leak. So, thank God I'm not back one gate. As you can see, there's several gates leaking. One back there by the sailboat looks like a little waterfall. Then you have, as we continue, oh, hi Mr. Bones. Good to see you, buddy. And then we have the cement wall, and you can see how far we came down. Each block is 5 feet. So we're at about 80 feet down right now. Good morning. We're approaching Rankin Lock. It'll be our last lock for the day. We will be staying at Midway Marina for the next 5 days. We'll get some bad weather coming in. It's supposed to be 30-mile-an-hour winds or so and some heavy rain and thunderstorms. So we're on our way to our last lock of the day. It's still 10:23 in the morning. Looks like we're gonna get there about noon. So we're gonna try to get a couple of boat chores done today and get everything settled. As you can see, there's a sailboat on my port side there in the rear view. And then there's another smaller sailboat with the mast still on it behind them. So we're at the rear of the pack, which is fine with me because the slower you go, the more fuel you save. Admiral slash first mate slash deckhand slash bestie is hard at it, trying to keep us nice and straight in the lock. We're at the Rankin Lock, the last lock for the day. We're going to stop for 5 nights We'll wait out this bad weather that's coming. So we're excited to have this last lock done for the day. Makes me think I'm watching the movie Silent Hill. There's my little drowned rat, first mate, first deckhand, and admiral, all in one package. Total package.